Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? It has just come to my attention that I do not introduce myself. So, hello, my name is Aziza. Nice to meet you all who doesn't know me, and to those who do, hello. Nice to see you again. Okay, so I got a couple things I want to say before I get started. First off, I do not want to offend anybody. Like, that is my biggest fear, to be honest with you. But even though sometimes when people are offended is when we really open up discussion. So I guess, please, no gunfire. Second, I would like to say that I really pray that I don't come across as a bitter Black woman, because I have nothing to be bitter about. I'm just seeing an issue and I would love to talk about it. I've been sitting on this for a couple weeks because I just was really in fear of talking about this at all. So let's go. There's 3 videos that triggered me over the last few weeks. The first one, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but it was an interview on Amber Rose. And if you want to find it, you can search the Slut Maker, okay, to pull that one up. I'll get into that later. Second video, a friend of mine, or depending on how they look at me, associate, posted a video of a woman giving advice to younger women about how to act in relationship with a man or husband. And the third video was a video of Kevin Samuels, and he had brought up how Black women chose government assistance over the Black family unit. And I really hope I can tie all of these things together. I really hope so. Okay, let's go. Let's go, okay? So, first video, which is what sparked this in the first place. Amber Rose was doing an interview, and she was talking about life after marriage. I'm assuming that was with Wiz Khalifa. And she was talking about how she was dating, and that people weren't calling her a slut because she was off dating and living her life now. And the man that was interviewing her said, well, no, I have to stop you there. No one is considering you a slut for dating. They're considering you a slut for having sex. So her rebuttal was, well, if you had left your marriage and you are now dating or having sex, what would that make you? And he said, the slut maker. And I was looking at the Beijing King like, I'm sorry, he was an older gentleman, was colored in, and, the marker and everything. And I was like, I was baffled because I wasn't expecting that answer from a man in his age group. And the fact that he was the interviewer with this platform, I just expected something a little more intelligent to come out of his mouth. But I totally understand where he was coming from. But it was sad to me because of the fact that, because of his age group, I just assumed that he would have something more powerful and profound to say. However, the real disappointment came in because I kind of put the younger generation in this box in my mind that they are the more disrespectful ones, how they are approaching relationship today. And I had to stop myself like, this is a clear, this is clear that it hasn't started with the babies. This is something that's being passed down. Now, we'll get back to that, okay? So the second video, like I said, a friend, associate, whatever they want, acquaintance, whatever they consider themselves, they posted a video. And it was a woman talking about how if you want to keep a happy marriage, that you should mind your business, don't be checking his phone, and all of that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm 100% on privacy, and if you cannot trust this person, you should not be with them. I'm a firm believer in that. Now, I'm not going to say that in my younger years I was always as mature as I am today. I'm not going to say that, okay? Because I was a fool at one point in my life as well, I'm just going to be honest. However, I don't believe that you should go prying and digging. But if you feel so strongly that this person is not doing right by you, that is a telltale sign not to start necessarily digging. And I know we dig, or everybody looks for some type of justification, some type of evidence to feel justified in whatever feeling that you have in your intuition, right? But your intuition is telling you that you need to bolt. But I digress. Let me get back to this woman. So with all of that being said, everybody was clapping and, oh, yeah, stay out your man business and this and that. And she has said, just to make sure that your daily chores and the house is all pulled together for you and your child, and make you and your child's home a beautiful place to be for you and that child. And my response under that post was, I was being sarcastic, of course, but I was like, yeah, that's exactly what she should do. She should mind her business, allow him to pay all of the bills, be an awesome roommate, make sure that the house is immaculate, because and that's going to make home life great for you and your child, because he's not going to be there anyway. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be over there giving his love and all of the best to him, to old girl. So allow him to go and do that. So within my sarcasm, I was thinking to myself how sad it is that she signed herself on for a life of married prostitution. I know. Please don't pull your gun out at me. Now just hear me out. Just hear me out. If you are no longer there for love and affection, and the genuinely to be in the company of this person, if you have gotten yourself to a point where the only reason why you are there is the comfort of this household and your bills to be paid, you are a prostitute. Because what do prostitutes give their body up for, and their self-respect up for, and their peace of mind up for? What do they give it up for? They give it up for money. They give it up for the bills to be paid. They give it up for shiny new shoes, cars, and attention. And to take care of their children. So within that dynamic of a relationship, sorry, sweetheart, you're a prostitute. And at some point, I decided that I want a real loving connection. And if I cannot find that, if I have to give up my peace and my being for bills, I need to get out here and get it on my own. I don't want that. Okay. And if I did, I would have done that. Okay. So no, I'm not saying that I'm against marriage. I'm not saying that at all. But that dynamic of marriage is a very sad one. And if you want to look at the idea that a man could say to himself that I am the slut maker, where does he get that from? Because the slut maker a lot of times has a wife at home waiting for them. But at the same time, we have done this to ourselves because that is what we say that we want out of relationship. That is what we are shooting for, is the man who can pay all the bills. And in return, it seems like the men are feeling used because all you want them for is bills. So now they're treating you like all you want is bills. How awful. That had me to think about the mentality of the buck. And the buck, his job was to go around and impregnate all of the women. And if your job is to impregnate all of the women, let's think about this dynamic before it gets ugly, right? When you first get put into this dynamic, right? You have to have a tender heart for the woman of your choice, whoever she may be. But now you're chosen to be the buck, and you have to plant your seed around. Unfortunately, you have to plant your seed with who you're told to plant your seed with, regardless of if you have any affections toward that person or not. So after so many rounds of being forced, now it becomes pleasurable. Because if I go into this situation and let's just say that the woman, forget giving her name, let's just say that you love Sue, okay? You love Sue. But because of your job title, you have to deal with Sue and Sally and April and Kizzy and whomever, right? And because you're cattle to a certain degree, it doesn't matter if you have to go lay down with mama, sister, cousin. You just have to go lay down and do what you have to do. So within doing that, you have to put a shell around your heart, because you may be in love with Sue, but it's your job to populate the community. While you're putting that shell around your heart, eventually, mentally, it becomes fun. You get to you're looking forward to all of the juicy material, for lack of a better phrase. I don't know why my brain wouldn't say nothing better than that, but whatever. Let's go. So let's flip that around, and for every woman that needs to be, there's some man that is in love with her, right? And he's watching and he's mad that so and so has to go in there with Betty Sue Ann, right? But after, they have to harden their heart to allow you to do what you're supposed to do with a woman. Now they begin to themselves look at you in admiration because you are doing exactly what they had been wishing to do with Betty Sue Ann, if that makes sense. Now we have flocks of men in admiration of the buck. And they're passing down to the men under them the admiration and the idolization, I guess you could say, because you idolize, who you have admiration for. So it's constantly being passed down, this I would rather be everywhere mentality. I'm not trying to be so nasty because this is social media, okay? So please roll with me. If you got it, just stay with me, okay? So then you add in a document called the Negro Marriage. This was a document put out around the time of the Lynch letter. Willie Lynch letter, forget it, okay? This was a document put out in that era. I'm not going to give you the absolute dates and numbers, okay? However, the document stated that if you have two families and you destroy, emasculate, kill, sell, just take out the idea of the functioning adult male in both families. One having a male child, one having a female child. And you take out both fathers. What it's going to do is it's going to make the woman that is raising the male child over coddle him, not want him to go out and experience life because of the fear that she's going to lose him. So she's not going to allow him to learn how to be a man. She's not going to allow him to go out into the world to experience what he needs to, okay? And in return, on the other side, is going to make the woman raising a girl child teach that your little girl how to function without having a man. Not just function without having him, but to go out and chop wood, do the jobs that you would ask your man to go out and do. So over time, in each generation is making the feminine stronger and more stronger, and going to teach them to be more stronger. And every generation get more stronger and more stronger, to the point of there is a energetic swap, if you will. And I'm not sure if anybody else is seeing it. But the women are more masculine and taking on the roles of absolute masculinity. And a lot of guys are taking on the role of femininity. And there is a confusion. Kevin Samuels brought up something in a video that I recently watched, and how he was saying that women chose government assistance over the family unit. But what he failed to talk about was how both of us got into that situation to begin with. I used to watch a movie, one of my grandma's favorites. It was called Claudine. And Claudine talked about what the Black family was going through in the 60s, I believe it was. And it baffled me to such a degree, because they would literally, your caseworkers and things would literally come over and look under the beds, look in the closets for any sign of a man, adult man, being in your home. And if so, you got put out of your home and you got cut off assistance. Now, what makes that so tragic is that back then, I remember my mother telling stories about how my grandmother was not able to find anywhere to stay within the city of Chicago due to the redlining that was going on back then. So regardless of how good of a job her and my grandfather had at the time, or what was considered to be a good job, they weren't able to find anywhere to rent. It was like the only option was to go to the projects, because no one would rent to them. So if you have that thought that nobody is renting to you and you must go to this one place, one of many, but these are the only places that you can go to get somewhere to stay. If the structure is set up where you have to go through some form of government assistance to even be in here, you having a man in the house is going to disrupt you having a place for the children that me and you laid down to make. And that has always obviously been the decision: love or stability in the Black community. And we have been, whether we have been pit against each other or we are pitting ourselves against each other at this point, that has been the decision for hundreds of years now, is love or life. So when I look around at everybody so angry at each other, I question, when are we going to do enough digging to find the core of the problem? When are we going to do the surgery and get all of the cancer out? Because if you don't get all of the cancer out, it's going to spread again. It's going to take over the body, and it's over. So when are we going to have the raw conversations? When are we going to do the actual digging? When are we going to truly connect the dots? us so we can understand why we're functioning a certain way, and then collectively decide to move forward in a different way. I hope any of this made sense. Y'all have a good evening.